Hi everyone, welcome back to Smarta.
With Marta. Today we're here to do a birthday science experiment because it's Mr. Marta's birthday.
And on that note, thank you to everyone who has sent me so many birthday wishes. I feel very spoiled today. I've had cards, I've had pictures, I've had letters, I've had emails, I've even had videos of boys and girls from Divisions 12 and 13 wishing me a happy birthday. So thank you very much. Mr. Marta's feeling much love.
He's feeling very happy on his
I
birthday
am.
today. He's having a happy birthday.
I am having a happy birthday.
All right, we're going to start with our shout outs. My shout out is to George, and my shout out is about reading practice because George has been practicing his reading, but he's also connecting with his family because he's FaceTiming with his grandpa and he's reading him Dogman.
Oh,
I
very
bet
cool.
George's grandpa really likes that.
I bet he does. I bet he's
Good
finding
job.
it very funny.
Good job, George.
My shout out goes to Asher, and I've got two shout outs for Asher. The first is around reading as well. Asher's been reading the first book in the series, Guardians of Ga'Hoole, and he's decided he really likes this book. And he's asked for books numbers 2, 3, and 4. So drop those off for him and keep up the great reading, Asher. Way to go. I also want to shout out to Asher for his Social Studies Alberta project. He had many interesting facts on there, but the one I'm shouting out today is one that made me smile. Was Asher indicated that Wolverine from the X-Men, Wolverine was born in Cold Lake, Alberta, which is true, and he's 135 years old.
Or 143. Was it
135. 135. Okay. At the time of that publication. Now he's older, of course.
Of course he
Yes,
is.
because he's got really slow.
Yeah.
Yes. Asher, great fact. I loved it. Made me smile.
Okay, jokes. Mr. Marta, you're going to go first.
Okay. Oh, yes. This is from Hazel. What did the turnip say to the mushroom?
I don't know, Mr. Marta.
You're a real fun guy. Get it, Mrs. Marta?
I get it because mushrooms are fungi and fun guy.
You like it, Hazel. Thanks for the joke.
Good one, Hazel. And this second joke is from me because we don't have any more jokes from you. But I looked for a science joke for the science birthday experiment. Here it is. How do you stop an astronaut's baby from crying?
I think of many ways. What's your way?
You rock it.
Rockets.
Okay.
If you rocket into outer space, you wouldn't hear it crying anymore.
I don't think that's what they mean.
Oh, okay.
All right. You can meet us over in the science lab.
See you there next. Hi, boys and girls. Welcome back to my birthday science experiment. Mrs. Marta has made this wonderful chart for us on the scientific method. It is Friday, May 1st, and this is my birthday science experiment. Now, all scientists, when they do an experiment or they test something, they follow the scientific method, and there's 6 steps. The first step is you got to make a question. Why are you doing this experiment? So our question today is, how can we show hot air rises? Because science tells us that hot air rises and cold air falls. And so what can we do to make an experiment to prove or disprove this? So make a hypothesis. That's step 2. An hypothesis is a prediction. It's a fancy word for prediction.
It's a scientific word for prediction.
It's a fancy scientific word that means make a prediction. So you design your experiment, and then before you do the experiment, you say, okay, I think this is going to happen. And then step 3 is the procedure, which is you doing the experiment. And as you're doing the experiment, you are doing steps 4 and 5. Steps 4 is very natural. You observe what happens during your experiment. Step 5, though, you might go, ooh, that didn't work out exactly how I thought, or maybe it did, but I want to try something new. What if I change this in the experiment and I try this? And so since you've now changed something, you go back to the procedure, you do the experiment, and you observe again. And you might have another question. Well, what if I change this part of it? And you keep doing this circular procedure, observation, question, procedure, observation, question, until you have concluded your experiment.
And you have enough information about your question.
You have tons of information and you make a conclusion. You say, based on what I saw, based on what was shown in the experiment, I conclude this is the truth and what have you. And it also might make more questions suddenly appear because you might have so many more questions when you discovered something like, oh, what if now we do this? And you would go through the whole thing again. You might make a new question even and start a new question and a new experiment. That's the scientific method. We're going to go through it right now, starting with our question. Welcome back, everyone. Time for the experiment. So our question, now we're zoomed away because we have to be able to see what's down here better. The question is, how can we show hot air rises? Okay, so Mrs. Martin and I came across this experiment, and we're going to try it out.
We thought it was perfect for a birthday experiment
It
because
is.
there's
The
birthday
birthday
cupcake.
cupcake. And look at the Hulk candles even. It's very cool. Now, before we go into this experiment, we have to do a little bit of a caution. In this experiment, you see the candles, you see the matches, there's fire involved. So if you are going to replicate or try this experiment at home, we can't emphasize enough, you have to have an adult with you the entire
You
time.
cannot do this without your grown-up.
You can't even have them set you up, start it, and the adult leaves. They have to be with you the entire time because there's fire involved. So no kids on their own for this one.
However, while you watch it, you don't have to have a grown-up with
Exactly.
because we're the grown-ups right now.
So for this experiment, we have a cupcake. We have candles in there. Now we thought, okay, if we light the candles, it's going to heat the air because the candles are fire, and it's going to heat this air right here. And if the air is rising, what could we do to figure that out? So we came up with...
So we thought our hypothesis was that
Oh, yes.
if we do this, we want the hot air rising to show in this. So my hypothesis is that when we try this out, this is going to lift up a bit.
Okay. All right. So how we're going to suspend that is this. You need a cupcake, you need candles. This is a regular cooking skewer. It's a wooden bamboo skewer. It's got a pointy tip and a flat bottom. You need a tin pan because tin it's not going to burn. It's aluminum, right? So it's going to be fine for the fire. You don't want to use paper up here. So you need matches and why do we have scissors? I can't remember. Oh yes, and you need scissors as well. I just remembered. Yes. Okay. So scissors, bamboo skewer, candles, cupcakes, tin container. The first thing you have to do, we have to suspend this on here. But the problem is it'll slide like that. Like how are you going to keep it on there? So what you have to do is you take the flat end of the skewer and you find about the center. Okay? And it'd help if you took a felt marker and kind of did your best eyeball mark the center. Once you've marked the center, what you want to do is you want to push. I put my finger on the back so I'm not pushing through. Because you want to push through it, it'll go through. That's also why I use the flat end. Put your finger on the back and you want to start by just gently rubbing a circle. You rub a circle, you can move your finger and you rub that circle and you'll slowly see, you probably can't see, I'm coming close to the camera. I'm hoping you can see this now. There's a little indentation there. So here it is on the inside. I've started rubbing in here. Don't want to go through, but you want it to definitely make a kind of a bubbled ridge. And then that will hold. Oh,
Hopefully.
I got to make it better.
You're going to have to come over here or your head's not in the frame.
I got to make it better. So make my ridge. There's my ridge. I've made it really good now. Now you can see it'll balance there now. That's what you need to have.
So now I can test my hypothesis to find out if that's going to lift up. And
So-
notice you're pulling the microphone. It's going to move the camera.
We've got to be careful. So we push our barbecue skewer flat end down, pointy end up. Okay. Make sure the cupcake is big enough to hold the skewer. Then you're going to take the tin foil cup and make sure it's balanced on that point. Okay. So you can see it's there. Mrs. Mars Wade's going to fall over. So you can see there's a little bit of airflow in the room because I'm talking, the wind of my voice to make it spin. So you have to be careful, don't blow on it, right? Okay, so once it's on there, it's in the right spot. Don't breathe on it as much as possible. It will waver a bit because there's air moving around the room. So I have another candle. I'm going to light this candle and then light these candles.
So before we do that, I want you to think, what do you think is going to happen to this tin pan when we light those candles if we're trying to prove that hot air rises?
Our hypothesis is we light these candles, the air will heat up, it'll make this rise right off the top. That's our hypothesis. Let's see if it works.
Ready?
The reason we were using a candle here is we only have matches. A lighter is better, we don't have one. if you use a match, they burn down really quick and you might burn your fingers. So we light the other candle first. Mrs. Marla might need a grown-up to help her. And we got the candle going. So now watch as we do this. Got one candle going. I should have lit the candles first to give them a head start.
These are fresh candles.
2 candles.
These are special birthday candles. You can see that Mr. Marta's green one has a green flame. Oh, I'm already starting to see something happening.
What are you seeing, Mrs. Marta?
I'm just asking the kids to observe for a second and see if they can see it before I tell them. Well, Mr. Marta gets those lit.
There they're going.
So if you do this on your own, it's a grown-up who's doing that part for you. All right, so what I can see right now is this is wobbling a lot more. Could be because I'm talking. Don't go away too far, Mr. Murder. You won't be in the screen. But it's also turning a teeny bit.
So what that shows me, what I think is happening, is the hot air is coming up and it's getting trapped underneath that container and the air is escaping this way, slowly making it wobble.
Wobbling it.
So I have a new hypothesis. Can we change this?
Yeah.
We're going to blow our candles.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to me. We're going to fan this because we don't
Hopefully
want
the smoke
our
alarm
smoke
doesn't
alarm
go off.
not to go off. And be careful, as I'm discovering now, this is a little bit warm already. So have an adult use some pot holders. That's
Okay,
fine.
the more you do that,
Yeah,
that's
I know, it's going to fan.
No. We don't touch candles with our
There
fingers.
it goes. It's going to go away eventually. It'll be fine. Just birthday candle. Okay, so here's my new theory.
Fingers crossed the smoke alarm
Lisa
doesn't
will
go
blow
off.
this way. We're just kind of watching that. We have a very sensitive smoke alarm, so we have to be careful.
Okay, you talk.
Okay, you take care of this. Get
It's
some
fine.
water. All right, so the problem I saw was what I think was happening was I could tell that the hot air was heating. It was being trapped under here and it was escaping by going out the edges, and that's what was making it wobble. So if we do a little change to this, what if we cut flaps into this, kind of like an air and a turbine, and we bend them, then the air should go in, escape through, and just like a windmill, it should turn.
Hence the scissors.
Okay, so let's do this. We're simply going to cut
That feels like another job for a grown-up.
flaps into this. That should be enough. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend them slightly. I'm going to just bend them ever so slightly. Give them a little shape.
All in the same direction.
This
I
was-
feel like you need one
I
more
didn't
cut
need
there.
at least one more. I'm going to do them all the same direction. Otherwise, they'll contradict each other with airflow, right? So you want, it's like a windmill. All of them going slightly bent. They're going to bend too much, just a little bit. In that direction of each other.
We could test later what would happen if you
Yeah.
bend them more or in
All right.
opposite directions.
So there we've got our windmill. So now let's put it back onto its holder. There it is. It's wobbling with our breath right now and finding its balance. And let's see. There she goes. And Mrs. Marta, as I light, you see what you observe.
Oh my goodness, look at that. You've just got the candle under
even
there.
just 2 candle flames.
Maybe do that one last because it's short now because I broke it.
Okay.
I wonder if it's going to go faster the more candles you light.
Now that stubborn one. You know what we'll do? Put him right there. I'm gonna grab and now talk about what's happening, Mrs. Marta, as I light these other ones.
Well, I think everybody can see what's
yeah,
happening.
there's not
It's spinning.
really a lot of explanation needed.
They're all lit. You just can't see the flame
Oh, really?
because they are special colored candles. Which,
Even that one? Oh,
Yep,
yeah, okay.
it's lit.
Okay, so we'll lay that there. So wow, this really illustrates and proves that hot air is rising. It's rising up. It's escaping out those flaps, and which is pushing it in the circle. What do you think happens, Mrs. Marty, if we blow out the candles?
Let's find out. Hopefully the smoke alarm doesn't go off. Oh, look, it's slowing right down.
Right away. The air is returning back to the same temperature all around. Check it out.
I wonder if it will stop completely or if there's some hot air stuck in there.
So what do you think, boys and girls? Do you think we've proven that hot air rises?
So as a scientist, because I'm a scientist, I'm always observing, which is another fancy science word for watching, and I'm asking questions. I'm starting to wonder something else.
Are you starting to wonder? Because I'm starting to wonder something huge.
I'm wondering if you put more candles,
That's what I'm doing also.
more candles in there, will that go faster? And also I'm wondering if the smoke alarm will go off. If that happens, we'll cut the video and come back because it's really loud.
So we started off with 4 candles. At one point we had 5 because I used the one I was lighting them with. We're going to put in a whole lot, Mrs. Marta.
Not enough to show how old Mr. Marta is, though.
No, we...
Mr. Marta's 5 times 10 plus 2 today. See if we can figure that one out.
Yes, Mr. Marta is... Oh, I won't tell you. Figure it out. Mr. Marta's gave you a
Maybe
challenge.
use this one because it's already started.
That'll be our one right here as well. What do you think? Is that enough, Mrs. Marta?
Yeah.
All right.
So
We're
gonna
gonna
stop this.
We're gonna stay away from the skewers.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried about.
I'll stay away from the skewer. I'll stay the outside. All right, we got a lot of candles going. Let's give it some more.
Let's not.
On the edge.
This is why you need a grown up with you. I'm Mr. Marta's grown up.
Okay, here we go, boys and girls. I think it should spin faster. What do you think, Mrs. Marta?
I think it should. Let's
All right,
find
let's
out.
do it. You should pull one of those out once you get it going so you don't burn yourself. No, it's definitely going faster.
Remember, we're not getting close
Yep.
to the skewer.
I got it covered, Mrs. Marta. There's 102 over here. And for good measure.
All right.
Look at that.
Definitely seems faster to me.
Definitely faster to me as well. You blow it out this time, Mrs. Marta.
It's not my birthday.
I know, but you're my...
Make a wish. And then find me.
Oh, I just whipped her.
Maybe don't whip me with the towel.
What do you have to say, Mrs. Marta?
Okay, so I guess maybe that many candles. Imagine if we had your birthday cake with 52 candles on, the whole building's alarm would be going off. So what we found out though is
Lot of
if we
things.
have more hot air because we had more candles, that it was going quite a bit faster. Now, as scientists, this makes me think of a bunch more questions, but we don't want this video to be too long, so we're not going to show you.
So we have proven that
hang
hot
on.
air rises.
Yes, but hang on, I'm not there yet.
Okay.
So if you're thinking that you want to do this and you want to answer a lot of questions that you have, remember you need to do this with your adult at home. So you might be doing this step a lot,
And hopefully your smoke detector is not as sensitive as ours.
hopefully. And then after you've tried all the things you want to try, then we get here.
So let's talk about our conclusion, number 6.
A conclusion means an ending, a solution.
So our question was, how can we show hot air rises? We did this experiment. So I would say, if I was writing this out in a scientific report, I would say, based on our observations, we noticed that, and we could say, when we heated the candles, it wobbled a little bit at first. There was not much action. We hypothesized that the air was being trapped and slowly releasing. So we cut flaps into it, bent it, etc., relit, and it clearly showed hot air rising because it spun this like a windmill really fast.
And the more heat we added, the faster it went.
And the more heat we added, the more smoke we made, the more the alarm went
Yeah,
off.
we're not going to talk about that again. So if we were going to ask more questions, if we were going to do this some more, these are some things that we were wondering. Number one, I wondered what would happen if we had a shorter stick.
I wonder what would happen if we changed the shape of our container? What if we had a square one, a rectangle one? Or what if we cut more flaps in or less flaps in? Or like your suggestion, what happens if you bend them different ways?
Opposite direction.
We could have so many experiments going on.
I was also wondering what would happen if you had a bigger
Like a
tray
big,
pan.
big aluminum tray. Yes, exactly. Just gotta be careful. Make sure this is really anchored in your cupcake really well. So make sure your cupcake or your
Ours
cake
is all the way
is
down to the
large
plate.
enough. You know what would really work well, Mrs. Martin, instead of a cupcake would be Play-Doh or plasticine. Stick out of the ground, the candles would stick in. It would be really strong to
I don't know
support
if
this.
Play-Doh is flammable.
Check on that before you take my
Maybe
word for
don't
it.
take Mr. Martin's advice unless you find out about
Yeah,
that.
look on Google first in regards to that. Have your parents look on Google. So be safe, but so many different things you can do with this birthday science experiment that it has a whole bunch more questions.
The other thing I wondered is what if I had bigger candles?
You mean thicker?
Thicker candles or taller candles?
Interesting.
Lots of questions. Okay, so you've made it to the end.
We have.
It's time for our birthday party with Rexy.
All right. Good one, Rexy. We're just enjoying our birthday cupcakes and Rexy's telling jokes. Tell them one of the ones.
We're having a little birthday party over here.
Tell them one of Rexy's jokes.
Oh, this was Rexy's joke. Why do candles always go on top of the birthday cakes?
Why, Rex?
Because it's hard to light them when they're on the bottom.
Very true. Very true. Well, before we celebrate our birthday, we can just say, going back to that science experiment, we actually proved that hot air rises two ways.
Oh, right.
We proved it with the spinning turbine.
And then in my not favorite way, we proved it by setting off the smoke detector. So obviously the hot air was rising.
Good experiment.
All right. Happy birthday, Mr. Marta.
Thanks. Cheers, Rexy.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, boys and girls.